Please welcome to the stage Kamal Sama.
Good morning. Good morning. I know it's early in the morning, but we've got a lot to get through. So let's get started. Is that cool? Okay, so a couple of guidelines for this session. Number one, don't believe a word I say. But what I'd like you to do is try it on. So when you buy a new pair of shoes, what do? Try them on. Some fit, some don't. Some of the stuff I'm going to tell you is going to fit like a glove. It is going to be the most profound thing you've ever heard. Some other stuff I'm going to tell you, you're going to think is a load of crock. And I'm okay with that, but what I'd like you to do is try this stuff on. Would that be okay, yes or no? Yep, cool. So the next thing is we do a lot of work around leadership and resilience. And I believe that leadership is about emotion. Management is about logic, but leadership is about emotion. So I want to talk about some emotional stuff. And lastly, by far the most challenging part of this whole session, especially when you've got food in front of you, is what I mean by be present now. Do you know how in a lot of our lives we go to La La Land? Do you know what I mean by La La Land? Who knows what I mean by La La Land? So sometimes it happens when you go home. You go home and you're talking to your partner and you've gone to La La Land. Sometimes you're in a meeting. Who's ever done this? You're in the meeting and you're thinking about what am I going to do, on the weekend and stuff, and somebody says, Kamal, what do you think? And you go, oh shit. And you go somewhere else, do you know what I mean? So what I'd like to do is make sure that we don't go to La La Land because, guys, I've got this much content, I've got this much time. I'm going to speak very, very fast. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a conversation. What does a conversation require? Two-way. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to say yes or no, put your hand up and all that kind of stuff. Why? Because it is 8:17 in the morning. You are not designed to listen to a short brown guy talk about leadership and resilience at 8:17 in the morning. True or false? Okay, all right, let's move on. So let me give you some stats. Here's some stats of the Australian working population. 56% of us don't get enough sleep. And I know some of you came in and said, give me the coffee. 62% of us don't get enough exercise. 53% of us would tick a box to say we're overwhelmed. But wait, there's more. 1 in 5 people would tick a box to say that they're depressed. Now, we do a lot of work in the States, and the statistics show that about 1 in 10 people are on antidepressants at any given time in the workforce. 29% of us are obese, and 22% of us would tick a box to say that we're exhausted. Wow, don't you love coming to work? Now, obviously, this is not your agency, this is not your team, this is other people, that work in other organizations, not you, yeah. So I want to talk at 3 levels, and all the work that we do is at 3 levels. The first level that I want to talk at is the me level. So I'm hoping that you get something out of this personally, that you hear an idea or concept that you want to share with somebody that you love. If we haven't gotten there, you will forget this stuff by the time you walk out that door. You with me? So it's got to work at the me level. Then it's got to work at the we level. So who's the first we in your life? It is your families. Do your families sometimes have to take your stress and strains from work? True or false? Yes, they do. And they don't get paid for it, right? So it's got to work at the we level. The second we is your teams. Sometimes our teams can really stress us out, yeah? And the third I want to talk about is the it. The it is your financial results. The it is your career. The it is your bonus. What we have found, though, is that a lot of people are living incongruently. And what I mean by that is the me, the we, and the it are pulling in different directions. So let me tell you what I mean by this. So if you've got the me, the we, and the it are pulling in one direction, that's when magic happens. It's really funny that how much you work doesn't cause you to be stressed. It is incongruency that causes you to be stressed. If the me is pulling in one direction, the we is pulling in another direction, that's when has anybody heard of this concept called work-life balance? I think it's a load of crock. And I'll tell you why. It doesn't exist. My belief is that if you're hanging out for your holiday, get another freaking job. Because you can't sustain that. How many people do you know that have amazing careers, but their health sucks and their relationships suck. Have you met people like this? Not you, friends of yours that live in, that work in other organizations. And so what we believe is this, is that congruency is the key to sustained performance. When the me, the we, and the it are pulling in one direction, that is when magic happens. And I know for your industry, a lot of that time that congruency doesn't happen. So you may be successful for a year, a 2-year, or even 5 years, and then you see the crash and burn. I want to talk a little bit about that. So what we do as an organization is very simple, but not easy. We work with successful individuals or teams or organizations that want to make this jump. They want to take this leap, the leap into the future, be it for their career, be it for their relationship, be it for the business. And they find themselves there. Now, can I ask you, do you think most people want to have a good body? Yes or no? Good sense of vitality? Yeah. Do you think most people want to have a good, loving, passionate relationship? Yes or no? Yeah, they do. Do you think most people want to have, get up on Monday morning going, woohoo, I want to go to work. I want to get engaged at work. Here's the fact though. Do most people have great vitality, health? Yes or no? No, you just saw the stats, right? Are most people in loving, passionate, woohoo kind of relationships? No. So what's the deal here? Why is it people want this, but they struggle to have it? Guys, this is the interactive part of the session. So just call out. Don't be shy. What do you think? Why? I can't read your name. Jody, why do you think people want this, but they don't? It doesn't exist. Okay. Okay. Difficult to find? What else? Yep. No congruency. Yeah, what else? Any thoughts? Don't all call out at once. Anybody? No? Were you scratching your head or no? No? Okay, so here's the deal. So most people say they're too busy. True or false? Yep. Who's busy in this room? Who's busy? Who lives a busy life, yeah? Most people are too busy living mediocre lives. They're too busy to have amazing health. They're too busy to have passionate, loving relationships. What are we doing? Like, hello, this is the one life we get, I think. I'm Hindu, we get born again. No, I'm just kidding. So what we have found is this, is that most people struggle to get to that next stage of their life because of this. They don't know how to disconnect from the past. They think what worked in the past is going to work in the future. It's just not the case. Can I ask you, the way you treated your body when you were, say, 20, remember those days? You ate a certain way, you drank a certain way, you partied a certain way, still managed to look buff, yep? Can you treat your body the same way when you're 30 and expect to look the same? No. Do a lot of people try? Yes, they do, yep? Or what about this? What worked in your relationship when you first started to go out? Remember those days? Yeah, come back. You just needed a place, that was just awesome. Does that stuff work 5 years into the relationship? It's like, remember when you first started going, it's like, honey, you hang up the phone. No, honey, you hang up the phone. Remember those days? And now it's like, why are you calling me at work? And this is the shift. So what we have to learn is not learn new things. What we have to do is we have to learn how to unlearn. And unlearning stuff is the challenge. So I want to tell you a very brief story. So there's a very famous psychiatrist. And this psychiatrist wanted to understand why is it that psychiatrists live such crappy lives. Did you know this? Psychiatrists have one of the highest substance abuse rates, they have one of the highest divorce rates, and they have one of the highest suicide rates. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the people we go to for help. Okay, so this psychiatrist does all this research, and he found out that the group of people that have the best lives are monks and nuns. So he's in Geneva, he flies all the way to Japan to meet this monk. And this monk is giving a speech. And it's big news, the psychiatrist is coming, yeah. And the psychiatrist sits down to learn the pearls of wisdom from this monk. Psychiatrist sits down. The first hour goes. The monk totally ignores the psychiatrist. The second hour goes. The monk totally goes. The monk totally ignores the psychiatrist. By the end of the third hour, the psychiatrist is severely pissed off. And he just can't contain himself. And he says in his loudest voice, "Excuse me, don't you know who I am? I'm the head of the Psychiatric Association, and I'm here to understand why is it that you monks and nuns are so happy all the time, and us psychiatrists that know so much about the brain and the mind live such crappy lives?" Monk doesn't say a word. What happens is there's a jug of water in front of the psychiatrist, and the monk picks up the water and starts to pour. Starts to pour, keeps on pouring until it overflows. And the psychiatrist goes, "Whoa, what are you doing? It's too full. Nothing's going to go in." Monk speaks for the first time, and he says, "You're right. No matter how good my stuff is, you are too full." Do you get what I mean by this? So what I've found in life is that life gives us emptying out processes. So you know that great career that you've got? Well, guess what? There's a restructure or there's a global financial crisis, and you lose your job. Or you know that amazing relationship that is just so, he's so amazing or she's so amazing? Well, you get dumped. Or you know that routine health checkup that you go for? You know that little just lump on the side of your neck? That doesn't look that sinister. Guess what? It's not that benign. My belief is what happens next is what leadership is about. What happens next is what resilience is about. So some people, when they feel this void in their life, what do? They eat. Have you met people like this? They just get all those. Some people drink. True or false? Yep, you've seen it in your industry. Like, are you kidding me? Are you going to another cocktail party? It's Wednesday. Or some people work. There's all this crap that they've got to deal with at home, but what do? They work a lot. True or false? Chocoholic, alcoholic, workaholic. It doesn't matter what your poison is. It ain't resilience. It ain't leadership. I want you to stop listening to people. I want you to stop listening to your customers. I want you to stop listening to your partners. I want you to stop listening to even your kids. Just hold that there. I'll come back to that for a second. So what we find is that what we're definitely looking for is, especially from a client perspective or from a team perspective or from an intimate perspective, we want to have a strong relationship and we want to have a deep relationship. So this is what we have found. So there are some people who speak at you. Who has ever been spoken at? Come on. It's like, blah, right? It's just like, they think they're having a conversation, but they're not, right? They're just speaking at you. The next step up is conversation. Conversation is better because there's a two-way exchange of data and information. But that's not what we really want. What we're really looking for is the next two up. The next level up is what we call communication. And communication is trying to listen behind the words. Not what they're saying, but what's behind the words, yeah? But what we're desperately looking for is connection. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not about time management. It's about energy management. Make sure you're giving the right time to the right people. It's not about avoiding stress. Bad shit happens to good people. True or false? Guys, if you have not had an emptying out process, I can guarantee you will. Yep. In some stage of your life, you will have it. And that will define you. So it's about seeking resilience to stress. I don't believe in stress management. I think it's oxymoron. You can't avoid those 3 o'clock calls in the middle of the night that will change your life forever, right? You've got to get away from life as a marathon. This work hard, play hard bullshit, it's so last century, right? It's about life is a series of sprints. You need to be in the blue, and then you need to go to the orange. Blue, orange, blue, orange. That's how you need to live your life. You can't be switched on all the time. Yeah? It's not about communication, it's about connection. We're desperately looking for connection. Loneliness is epidemic proportions. And I think the more connected you are, and here's a really interesting thought. Have you seen in the press about the amazing swimmers? Do you think they're pretty resilient? I think so. They're so. But if you notice the trajectory, what's been the biggest trigger point for them to go into rehab? Does anybody know? Relationship breakdown. It's the relationship breakdown is what's makes it. So make sure you stay connected. Please don't listen more. Make others feel heard. Learn how to do this. So I want to finish off on a little story if I could. So I love this stuff. I can't believe I get paid to do this. I have got friends in this room that I met 7 years ago that came to a session, and I've been friends with them for 7 years. So some of you don't know this, but we're going to be friends. So, so this is very cool. I think I'm very, very grateful and very, very blessed to be on this journey. I want to finish on something that's very dear to my heart, and it's about the results, not about the results, but it's about something else. So we can tell you how amazing this stuff is and how important it is for your careers and your businesses. But I want to finish off on a personal story. So we did a program for a large organization in Sydney, and one of the ladies there, she was a very high position in the organization. She was one down from the CEO, and she said, "Hey, Kamal," and I said, "Yeah." I said, "This connection thing, this is really interesting. I realized that I haven't been really connected to my son, and what I've been doing is I've been communicating to him the way my parents communicated to me, in a very domineering way, because why? I'm the mom, do it." And so what happened is about 6 weeks ago, he just started to hate school. And I'm pulling and dragging him into the car, putting him in. He's 8 years old, 8-year-old kid. And I'm going to try this connection stuff. I want to try and make him feel heard. Not just talk at him, not just speak at him, because I realize I'm just speaking at him all the time. And he's getting exhausted and drained. And I said, "Fantastic, this is great." So this was on a Wednesday. So that was Wednesday, 5 p.m. I get a call at 9 a.m. on the Thursday. And she's sobbing. And I'm saying, "Hey, what's up?" And he said, "Come on, I talked to my son." Yeah. He said, "Yeah, well, I started to talk to him, and he told me for the first time he felt connected to me. He felt that, that I was making him feel heard." "Wow, that's very cool." So why are you crying? I said, "He told me 6 weeks ago that one of the teachers at school started to molest him. And the molester said, if you tell your mum, she's going to love you even less." Everything that she was doing was reinforcing what the molester had said. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And she said he felt connected. And so this has been in the news. If you Google it, you'll find out. I'm not going to tell you the school. It was in the Sydney Morning Herald. It was in the press. And I think it's really important to think about your own resilience. And I was looking at those questions. Yeah, kind of. But I think the best way to get resilient is to actually do something for somebody that you don't know. I think we've forgotten about being connected. And this desperate sense of loneliness is us trying to get work-life balance. It's trying to eat well, play well. That's important. But you've got to shift. To try to figure out how do you step up and find that calling, find that purpose in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, these are my contact details. If I could tell you one thing, Are You OK Day is coming in September. If there's any way you could support Are You OK Day, I'd be really, really grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Cheers, guys.